Hey everybody, it's Mr. G again. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the white 86 again. And when I picked up the car, I had noticed that the weather stripping around the rear hatch wasn't very good. Or at least that's what I thought. Upon further inspection, what I realized is that the rubber itself is in good shape, but it looks like it has shrunk. So now there's an area or a gap at each end, probably a couple inches on each side. So what we're going to do today is we're going to see if we can fix that problem without having to put all new weather stripping around.
Hey folks, this is Mr. G and welcome to Just Corvette Crazy. On this channel we talk about Corvettes, we fix some Corvettes, and we love to drive our Corvettes. So if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out a lot. Thanks.
What I did is I picked up some of this Permatex weather stripping adhesive. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull the full rubber seal off and then wash it, wash around where it's supposed to go, and then I'm going to reapply it, and I'm going to put some of this adhesive in place so that hopefully it fills up the gap, so I can stretch a little bit of the weather stripping in order to fill up that gap and glue it in place without having to replace the whole thing. So I'm just going to take the camera in my hand, and then I'm going to show you the gap that we have. So as you can see, the weather stripping is actually in good shape. There's no rips or tears. But when you come down to this corner here, you can see that we have a 2-inch gap. Now if I take the insulation and I stretch it, I can actually fill up that gap pretty easily. And if I go to the other side, you'll see I have a similar gap, a little smaller, but that should easily be able to fill up. So the first thing I got to do is I'm going to remove this completely and clean up all around it, and then we'll put her back into place, and hopefully we can stretch it out to fill up that gap. Because even if you look at the top, okay, so the top seal itself is in good condition as well. So all it does need is, again, another little tiny bit of stretching at each side, bring it in, a little bit of adhesive to hold it in place, and then hopefully that solves our problem. So again, the first thing we got to do is pull out the full seal, give it a good wash the actual area underneath so that we have something good to put the weather strip to. So I'm going to do the washing and then I'll come back. Alright, so I took the weather stripping into the sink, cleaned it with some soap and some water using a little soft bristled brush. I tried doing it with a cloth at first, but that just didn't get the job done. So I used a soft bristle brush. Got that all clean, so now it's just out in the sun drying. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle the actual seal, or where the seal is going to be glued to inside the car. So that again needs to be vacuumed out with all the crap that's in there, and then just give it a wipe down. And then I'll probably wipe it down a little bit with some isopropyl alcohol, just so that the adhesive sticks. So let me get tackling that, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, back at it. So I've removed the bottom weather stripping seal, and I've also removed the top weather stripping seal. I've washed them both. They're both hanging out there to dry, and I have cleaned the seals around where we're going to be putting the adhesive. So we're going to let that dry for a little while, and then we'll go ahead and reinstall. I'll probably give a little bit of a wipe down with some isopropyl alcohol just to make sure that everything is good and clean and dry. But I'm going to let this dry for a while, going to let the seals dry for a while, and then we'll come back and take care of putting it back together. See you soon. All right, so we're back. The car's dry. The weather stripping is dry. I'm going to crack open this tube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it bit by bit. It says to, on the instructions, it says to apply, let sit for at least 10 minutes. So, and then stick the two sides together. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to crack this open here. So I'm going to grab a rag, first of all. All right, so we're going to do the bottom one first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab the middle, and I'm going to do the middle first. And then that way I can actually stretch from the middle. So if I looked at it from about here, I'd say, okay, there's the middle right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the middle in, let it set, and then I'm going to work my way around to each side. Just going to touch them together for a brief second. Let them mush in. Alright. Now I'm just going to let this sit here for about 10 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is, once it sits for about 10 minutes, then I'm going to mush the two together. And then I'm going to let that center part sit. So what I'll probably do while that's sitting is I'll do the same thing for the top, and I'll basically mush them together, let them sit, and then what I'll do is after 10 minutes I'll put them together and then let them sit. I'll probably clamp them or something along those lines depending on whether or not we need it. But what's going to happen is once it sets and once the adhesive takes effect and the center is stuck, then I could actually work my way around. Remember, we shrunk a couple of inches, so what I'm going to do is as I'm doing this around, I'm going to slightly stretch and pull back the weather stripping all the way so that it does fit once again up into the corners. So that's what we got. We're going to let it sit for a bit. Alright, so I'm on the last strip. So the bottom is completely done. I have a clamp holding the bottom side. The passenger side on the top is done. And on the driver's side now, I am going to just finish it off. So basically I've got the adhesive on the actual frame and also the weather stripping. It's been sitting there for a few minutes now to let the solvents evaporate. So now I'll stick it together, clamp it, and that should be the end of it all. So just hold on, we'll see how it goes. Alright, so looks pretty good, so we're going to let it sit. And then I'll just go back with some paint thinner, mineral spirits, whatever, and get rid of any residue of the adhesive. And hopefully we now have a much better sitting weather stripping than what we had before. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And there's plenty more videos to come. We're only getting started on this old girl, so stay tuned.